Hello, and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And for this episode, we watched Madeline. Madeline? I think it's
Madeline.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd never seen it before, so...
Neither had I.
I'd heard of it.
Yeah.
I think I'd seen a picture of the kid in the hat, but that was it.
I feel like I saw posters of it everywhere when I was growing up, but I'd never actually seen it.
Yeah.
I saw, I think, about 3/4 of it, either at a friend's house on a video or at school or something like that. And then I never got to watch the end of it.
But you picked this film. I assumed you'd
But
seen it.
Because I always wanted to watch the end of it. Like,
Right.
I've thought about this film so much over the years,
Right.
but never in like a time and a place where I can sit down and watch it. And I remember every now and then it would be on TV, but I'd always I'd always missed it. Or like
Right.
I'd flick through, or like at Christmas it would be on, but at the same time as Chicken Run. So
Yeah, Chicken Run, the Christmas movie.
yeah.
Yeah, Madeline, the Christmas movie.
But it's I remembered very vividly the boat of hats,
Yeah.
and the scene where Madeline's run away and her friend has to hold up her hat for her at the back of the bus so it looks like she's there.
Yeah, that was pretty smart. That was
And
actually,
that
yeah.
is the only things I remember from this film, other than the fact that I knew I really enjoyed it when I was watching it. So I was that's why I put this forward, because I was keen to see if it was good or if it was just, I'd made it better in my head. I was worried we had a flubber situation on our hands, but
Yeah, we were all disappointed by Flubber.
Yeah, it's definitely one that's a good movie for kids to enjoy because it's just a series of different little things happen and then the movie ends.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
well, that's because it's
polite
based on
Centrinians.
based on about 4 novels, I think, all sort of
Yeah.
smushed into one.
Stories. Yeah.
So yeah, it is polite Centrinians. It's well behaved small Centrinians.
Yeah. It's alternate universe Matilda.
Yes, it's and
It's
also
that-
adorable.
Yeah. No, it's that like soft, like childhood vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's just, there's nothing like, the stakes are never that high. Like, they're never like in.
It's not life and death. It's like,
Yeah.
oh well, if the school shuts down, she'll have to go to a different school. Like,
And, like-
no offense, Madeline, but there are plenty of like Catholic schools.
Yeah, there's a lot of other schools. But also, like, even when they are in serious danger, it never feels like they're in serious danger.
No,
Like,
there
they
is
don't.
that kid sense of invulnerability.
Yeah, they never feel like they're in, like, that big of a problem.
I
but
mean, Miss
you watch it,
Clavell
like,
looks
oh
like
my
she
God.
ages several years
Yeah.
through raising Madeline, but
Madeline is a little shit.
Yeah.
oh, is she, or is she just a bit
Yes.
free spirited?
Also known as a little shit.
So it opens up with what I can only describe as like a Dr. Zeus kind of rhyme,
It's
which I
the
guess
book.
must be taken from the
Yeah.
book.
It'd be weird if it wasn't. It'd be a weird choice to open if it had nothing to do with the book.
Yeah, I figured that, but only after I was watching it, I was like, I do not remember this very, very regimented, forced, and not very well written rhyme at the
Wow.
start.
Judge the book, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I'm coming out the book. I love the films, but the books suck shit.
Do you think there's people that are like the kind of book nerds for this, where they're
Madeline.
like, the books were better, the film, I can't believe they did 4 books in one film. They've missed out these very important scenes where Madeline's hat goes on a kite or some shit.
No, there were those 3 pages.
They change a lot in the film. Like, she isn't even an orphan in the books.
There were those 3 chapters of the battle that she has that they got rid of and turned it into 10 minutes in the film.
That
Yeah.
bit where there's a tiger in a really small cage, she actually helps it escape and then it mauls some people.
Yeah, it goes... Anyway.
So I used to absolutely adore this kind of like that. Well, those kind of books and this kind of scene when I was a little kid, like 7 or 8, just sort of starting to get my hands on, proper. I wouldn't say proper books, but longer,
Yeah.
no pictures kind of books.
Yeah.
And I don't think I read Madeline, the Madeline book series, but I read very similar sort of Enid Blyton ones that were about like the twins of somethingy something, which was all about like a couple of twins who were at boarding school, and there were a lot of them were set around like boarding school.
Yep. I mean,
it's like it's one of those things. It's like remove the parents, and the kids still have like a bit of a romp.
Yeah, but it's still like regimented in their rules.
Yes, and the stakes are never that high because they've always got like a pretty safe place to go back to, and
and you're not writing about feral children.
Yeah, so it wasn't upsetting. It was more just like, oh, look at these crazy adventures we can have.
Yeah.
And this one, it's so cute. This one, she's such a cute actor that plays Madeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only bit of trivia I read that she was like essentially the other person in the running to be Hermione.
I think she'd have been fine.
And then kind of stopped acting for like 10, 20 years.
Fair.
Yeah, it's her only film she's done.
Yeah,
she's directed something. On IMDb there's like a couple more, but I think they're like TV shows or something.
Yeah.
But that's from 2015 or so, so it's, like almost
Research.
20 years
See,
later,
I'd feel bad, but then at the same time, it's probably good that Hollywood didn't like spit her up and spit her out.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, you know what, not being a child star for ages isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, do this, get some money, go to school, you're set. You're all good.
Yeah, you're all good.
And then fight your parents in a long battle for the money that you.
Frankie Muniz it.
Yeah.
But it's so sweet at the start. Like, but there's this. I mean, it's also so French, and I don't think it's the books aren't written by a French person. I don't think.
No, it is very French, but it's very French in that way that like people from. It's not so French that it feels like it was made by French people.
It's a very how we think it would be if it was set in London and they went absolutely everywhere in black cabs, constantly calling in red phone boxes and just walked past the Houses of Parliament every 5 seconds.
And just to the left of their school was Big Ben.
Yeah.
Like in 102 Dalmatians.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which was made for sort of American kids, and it's like, remember, you're in London.
You're in London, and you can tell that it wasn't made for French people, because the only characters that have a vaguely French accent are in the film for like 10 seconds each.
Yeah,
everyone else
background character sometimes speaks French, but otherwise they're all just English.
Everyone else is either they are defaulted English or specifically Italian. Everyone else is French.
Actually, half of the girls at the school are French.
Yeah, but I'm sorry.
They don't speak.
Yeah, no. Which character names are? What are they called?
Mimes. Yeah.
Shut up. I did like the mixture of the Franglish that was going on.
Yeah. No, it was good.
It was well done, where it did remind you, like, okay, we're acknowledging that it's in France, but we're not making it. Like
every now and then they reference France in their language.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's not. It's just English.
English and Spanish.
Yeah. So this film opens in like the nicest way. The opening shot is incredible. It starts at like Madeline is an orphan. Yeah?
Yeah, she's a ward of the church.
And she's in this house that has been owned by someone else, but like has always been a girls' school.
Yeah, it's owned by Lord and Lady Covington.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Lady Covington is like quite rich and is always happy to put money into the school.
Yeah, she always puts money into the school, and her husband doesn't like that. Yeah. But yeah, Madeline, we see them going to. It's the girls. They're in like red coats. Is it red coats?
No, they've got blue sort of pinafores, and then boater hats with a big red ribbon on each one.
Yeah.
And they go through France, and they go through France in twos. It's all very like sweet and twee, and it's lovely.
Oh, my favourite shot at the start is where they're clearly walking back from the baker's with a baguette each.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and then Madeline, she's the youngest, which we find out in the rhyme at the start.
Yeah, she's the littlest.
She's the littlest, and then she's
doesn't say she's the youngest. It says she's the littlest. Is she just short?
Might be, maybe Aggie's younger, but. Got some height on her. But her and Aggie are just sword fighting with the baguettes, and it's so sweet.
It's so sweet.
I wasn't expecting Miss Cavell to be Frances McDormand.
No.
Like,
It only was because I looked at the IMDb page.
Because she's absolutely amazing in Three Billboards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what I know her from.
Yeah, a lot more sort of serious acting.
But she's really good in this. Everyone's good in this. Even like the child actors are actually quite good.
The kids I think it's because the kids are just funny most of the time
Yeah,
as well.
they are allowed to just be
Like,
kids.
Like, just every so often there were lines that just really made me laugh. Like when so Madeline gets her appendix taken out, and then when she's in hospital and she's showing all the kids her scars, and the one kid's just like, "It's ginormous."
Yeah.
I love like when she like gets the appendix and like is a problem. It's like the middle of the night and the matron wakes up and is like
Right.
Yeah, she's like, something's not right. It's like, my God, this woman pays attention.
Yeah, she's got real instincts when it comes to the girls, and it's not just something's not right, but it'll be something's not right, they're messing about, something not right, something seriously not right.
Which I don't think they did enough through the film. I think they could have done it a couple more times.
Yeah, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't like overplayed.
I think it was a bit underplayed.
They could have done it one more time, I think, or a couple more times.
Somewhere in the middle. Because it kind of like it happens at the beginning and then at the end, and it doesn't happen in the middle, and it could have been really cool to have.
But yeah, when they all go to visit her and they've all bought a flower each.
Yeah.
It was so sweet, and she's obviously putting on a bit of a show for them, being all like, "Oh, the pain," and then being all cheerful and happy.
Yeah.
It was very cute. And she's so brave.
It's so childlike.
Being told, that fear of the surgery where Miss Cavell can't go with her, and she's just like, "You can do anything. I can do anything. I can do," and it's just like, "Oh, you're such a brave girl," because that is really scary. Like that's a big operation to have, and a lot of pain to have as a child.
Yeah, like that's serious. And then like they capture like being a child perfectly, because she has had like a major surgery, doesn't care. Is like, look at the scar.
Yeah. She's just pissing about.
Yeah, it's that pride of having had an experience that the others haven't had.
Yeah.
Because like that is really cool, and like at that age, I remember being fascinated with people who got to go to hospital and stuff, because it just wasn't really something that had happened to a lot of us yet.
Yeah, and like you have no idea what happens in a hospital when you're a child.
No, and it sounds fun because you're not at school, and I think you get quite a lot of ice cream.
Yeah, and it's like you get good stuff, and you get to stay in bed all day.
Yeah.
Because your parents aren't going to tell you what you're actually in hospital for. And it's terrible. Or being in hospital is awful.
Yeah, as an adult, it's not. I didn't really go to hospital as a kid.
No.
Like, once I think I went to A&E for a fractured my ankle.
Yeah.
That's
it.
A&E for,
Yeah.
Fell off a chair onto a metal bin and it went through my foot. That was fun.
Ouch.
Ow.
Yeah.
Were you wearing shoes?
No.
Was the bin wearing shoes?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Were you rocking on your chair when you fell off?
No, I was trying to put a poster up, so I was standing on it. I was in like year 7. And it cut sort of like between where my little toe and the toe next to it are. And so the worst bit was having the anaesthetic needle go into that little bit between. That was awful. Yeah. I'll stop talking about that now.
I hope you realise like every teacher has that story of like, a student did this when I was.
Yeah, this is why you're not allowed to stand on chairs.
Yeah,
I wasn't in school. I was at home.
No, but you're.
So it's your parents' fault.
Yeah, it's
my fault because I was in year 7 and I was putting up a poster, and it wasn't even a poster of anything cool. It was like of the stars or some shit.
Wow.
It's cool.
I was a nerd.
Oh, one of those like edutainment posters that you get as a kid.
Yeah.
When it's like, I'm going to teach you, or it's like a geography graph.
Hang on, I've just realised the chair I fell off is the one I'm sitting on right now.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I'm surprised you didn't throw it out in disgust.
Be careful.
I threw the bin out, but mainly because it was crumpled.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Madeline.
So
Madeline.
the girls, the dynamic between like the girls is also really sweet, but also it is quite funny as well. Especially like Vicky, the kind of bitchy one. Like she's quite catty.
She's like sort of a bully, but not terribly.
She's kind of got her. She sort of thinks that she's above the other girls, or that she's like more grown up or something, but she really isn't. And the others see through her quite a lot of the time as well.
She's also really cruel.
Yes.
Sometimes. On occasion, she's really, really cruel to Madeline.
Yes.
And there is a point where you're like, maybe the teacher should do something and say something, which kind of just does. They're just kids being kids, but like some of the stuff she says is not okay.
Well, I guess a lot of the stuff she says isn't in front of Miss Cavell, and it's not like Madeline ain't no grass.
No, Madeline will sort out her own problems.
Well, yeah. And she's also not massively bothered, apart from the time where she does say something about how, like, oh, isn't it pathetic? Madeline's not got a family to go back to.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Getting to the plot. So the second sort of big plot is that the school's going to shut down.
Yeah, while she's in hospital, she sees Mrs. Covington in there, and then the next day they find out that Mrs. Covington died.
Which is an intense, like... That's a weird, strong moment in the film.
They do it really well. Like they do the proper thing you're supposed to do with kids, where you say she died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, Madeline's character understands this a bit better with her family being dead, but they don't like step around it. They don't say, oh, she's gone to sleep or anything like that.
She's gone away for a while,
and she doesn't not tell her either, or like tell her it's not to worry about it. She's just like right there and then. As soon as Madeline asks why they can't see her on the way out of hospital, she's like, she's died. And then she asks if she's okay, and then then Madeline is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then sad about a chicken.
Yeah. Well, it also, like, I think Madeline, if I remember right, she asks if the teacher's okay.
Yeah.
Which is really sweet.
Yeah. That's why she's such a good girl.
But that's like a really sudden thing to happen in the film as well, because you meet her. You literally
meet her, and then the next thing you hear is she's dead. The next
scene is like, she's like, oh, she's dead. It's like, wow. But you also learn that her husband is a dick.
He doesn't really like that she used to put all of her money into the school, so immediately he's
like... It doesn't sound like it's all anywhere near, like, all of her money or anything like that. It was more that she didn't mind spending whatever the school needed on the school.
Yeah.
He's not broke. Yeah. He just, didn't want to...
He's a lord.
Rich and tight.
Like, he's a lord.
Yeah.
He just doesn't
rich and tight, I think, does sum it up.
Yeah, he doesn't really give a shit about kids,
Because it's a huge house that he could sell, pretty much.
To one of the ambassadors of another country.
Because the ambassador of Spain's moved in next door, so this is now Ambassador Street.
With our kid Pepito.
Oh, Pepito. Well, no, full name, Dan.
Okay, full name. No. Hang on, I've got it written down. His full name is Jose Marco Filippo Juan Fran Loco Lopez de Vega Esteban Mercado Jorge Santiago de la Roca Gaspar Carlos de Fuentes Coruna Diego Ed Sevilla.
I mean, that really rolled off your tongue.
Yeah, really
Pepito for sure. Bloody hell, I was expecting you to stumble there.
Also called Pepito.
Yeah, he's called Pepito. I'm not saying that every time.
No, Dan, you don't have to say that every time.
I'll just copy and paste when I said it before each time.
Sure.
And he's your standard naughty kid.
Yeah.
Not getting enough attention from his parents, so kind of left to his own devices.
But with all the money in the world.
Yeah,
and
so a bit spoiled, a bit...
He's got a Vespa, and it made me laugh so much when all the girls are kind of like, sort of pouring over him, and they're like, is he smart? And they're like, who cares? He's got a motorbike.
He's got a Vespa.
Yeah, that was a great line.
Yeah.
The girls all being like, fluttering over at him and just being so like, oh my goodness, a boy is... Like, it's so funny. It's because that is how little girls are. Yeah. He's so grown up and he's got a motorbike. And, he's Spanish. And that's just really... I don't know, it really tickled me because that encapsulates what can happen with, like, little girls. And, like, there's a new boy or something. They all fall in love with him at the same time.
Yeah, and Madeline's like, no, he's a terrible
bad
person.
hat.
Yeah.
And obviously she thinks very highly of hats.
Well, they all do. But yeah, she don't like him. She's anti Pepito at this point.
Which is fair, because then he starts just being a bit of a dick.
He is a dick.
He's
yeah.
a massive dick.
He's a spoiled brat.
So yeah, he's like he said, mate. He was sort of playing pranks at the start, and then they go over for his birthday.
Yeah, we also
and he's like, oh sorry. Yeah.
We also meet his tutor, who is important to the story, who is an English lad.
I really had to do a double take there, and because I was like, so which famous British actor is this?
I thought that as well. I was like, who is he?
Yeah, I was. Oh, who was it? Like, I thought it was McAvoy for a second.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely not his accent.
Oh
That's
yeah, no, but it's an
definitely not his
accent that
natural
McAvoy can do.
No, I mean like this actor. That's definitely not his natural accent. No,
he doesn't talk like this.
He doesn't talk like that in real life.
Ben Daniels.
Yeah, but he's a tutor who kind of doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know what to teach.
Yeah, because when you first see him, he's kind of like spying on the Spanish ambassadors, like with a camera.
Yeah, so you know he's dodgy from the start, but you don't really know how dodgy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he asks the girls' teacher, like, "What do you do all day?"
Yeah, and you're like, this ain't no teacher teach.
No teacher. Which, like, my brain went, oh, he's like a new teacher. He's not a new teacher.
Oh,
Technically, he's a new teacher.
Yeah, this does seem to be hopefully his first time teaching. I don't know if he's just been doing the rounds at all the other ambassadors, like nicking their kids.
Yeah, but yeah, he's
posing, and he's got this plan to kidnap Pepito.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we get to Pepito's birthday, which like his
Yes.
parents announce him and then fuck off. It's horrible.
Well, they always do that. Like every scene we've seen with the parents, they're saying, "Oh, sorry, wish we could stay," or "We're off to the races now," or whatever, and they just leave him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do something important. You enjoy having a bunch of mice with your snake.
Having a child, having all these children round.
And it must be hard because obviously they've just moved, so he's not got any friends.
Yeah, which is why they invited all the girls round.
Yeah, invite neighbours round for a cup of tea.
And he comes down dressed as like a matador.
Oh, it's so sweet, isn't it? Because that is exactly like what a kid desperately trying to like impress people. Who's like, this is my best and most brilliant outfit.
I will wear it.
I am turning 10. This is what I shall be wearing.
Mother, father, get me my matador outfit.
And so half of the girls are like, you're not a real matador. And the other half are like, oh my goodness, could you kill a bull?
Yeah. Madeline's like, you couldn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's not pulling any red cloth over her eyes.
No. Like Madeline just ready for a fight at any point in this film.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Great. We missed out. Wait, we missed out.
Oh, sorry, we missed out dinner.
Well, we also missed out. Like, we're skipping a lot. There's a lot in this film because we've missed the dog.
No, the dog's after.
The
dog's after. Yeah, because isn't it this bit at his birthday where he has built the little guillotine to kill mice before he feeds them to his snake?
Yeah, no, that's true. Which is psychopathic.
Yeah. Maybe he also uses it on borrowers.
But
so it's one of those things where he's taken refuge in having he's got a menagerie essentially. He's got snakes and all sorts in there. Yeah. I always think, you must be a little bit of a psychopath if you keep reptiles, but that is just my own opinion.
No, you can have reptiles. Reptiles can be caring.
Yeah, bearded dragons look like they have a big smile most of the time.
Okay, bearded dragons I think are cute. Snakes, weird.
Snakes are cute. Snakes are great.
Yeah, but they do just want to eat you.
They don't just want to eat you. They can actually show affection. Like
depends on the snake, I guess.
And depends how big the snake is. If it's a really small snake, it doesn't want to eat you.
Probably just eyeing up your nose or something. I could get that bit in. Like, oh, it's kissing my face. Ah!
No, you'd know if a snake bites you. You're never going to get that confused.
You did hear about that lady who, her snake suddenly, she had a massive snake. And it started lying down next to her every day. And she was like, oh wow, he must be so affectionate. But she mentioned it to the vet, and that was like, no, he's measuring up to see if he can eat you.
Yeah.
See if he can fit you inside him. That put me off snakes.
Yeah, snakes are one of those things where, like, I'm not scared of them as long as I'm expecting to see them.
Oh, that's most animals.
Yeah,
like that's most
that is
weird.
pretty
And
Animals.
that's also
yeah.
like living in England, where it's like, oh wow, a grass snake that you might see from a distance near a bit of water or something.
Yeah, same with like spiders and stuff. Like
Yeah.
if there's a tarantula in like a zoo or something, I'm like sick. And if I walk into my bedroom and there's a tarantula, I'm like, what the fuck?
I'd just be like, what do I do?
Yeah, or like
Who
a
do I
snake.
call
I'd be
about
like,
this?
huh?
I'd just sort of shut the door and be like, I guess that's the snake's room now.
Yeah, no, what do you do if you find a tarantula in your bed?
I guess you call the police.
you call the emergency number, and when they pick up and ask what you need, you go, honestly, I don't know.
There's a tarantula in my bedroom, and they're like, fuck, we don't know either.
It's like
Because I know, like, if it's a loose dog, you can call the dog warden.
yeah, I don't know. I'd
but-
probably Google what to do if I found a tarantula.
RSPCA?
That's
Get
your
a big
best bet.
cup.
Yeah. Who do
Oh
I
yeah,
call
no,
about
I'd be
a
trying to
tarantula?
throw a bucket on that, but then I'm
Yeah,
like,
definitely put a bucket over it.
I'm
Yeah, if you
guessing I
miss.
shouldn't just slide a bit of paper under it and put it outside.
No, if you miss, you don't want to miss. You don't want to take the chance of missing a tarantula with a bucket.
I'm just now imagining going around with them. You know, like when people find a dog and they're like, "Hey, I found this dog. Let me know if it's yours."
This is a picture, but like a picture of a tarantula from across the room.
You go outside and on the lamppost you see a poster for a missing tarantula. The picture's also taken from across the room.
But we have missed a bit. So
Yeah.
the bit that we hadn't talked about is we mentioned that she makes friends with a chicken after her appendicitis. In that the chicken's on the back seat with her on the way back from the hospital.
Yeah.
And the chef is like, I'm gonna make chicken Hélène.
Chef, by the way, amazing.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Chef is incredible. She's incredible.
And I guess kept pretty busy feeding 12 kids and 2 adults, and I guess doing all the laundry and stuff.
And like she's the only person working there as well. Like she must do all the cleaning as well.
And that's a big house. Well, the girls I think do the cleaning. Or
But
do
not,
some
like,
cleaning,
they
but they
can
are
only do some
children doing
cleaning.
it.
They're not like old enough to do the actual cleaning.
Oh, they're not dipping their bucket, like getting buckets full of lye and.
Yeah. No. Weirdly enough. They're not ready for that yet.
Each one's got bleach. Right, go on.
Couple more
Unclogged
years.
toilet. You did this.
She must be stressed all the time. And then she's
So-
making quite elaborate dinners.
And this is obviously. So it's set in like the 50s. So having a chicken
Yeah.
is actually quite a
Is
big
it?
deal.
Okay.
I think it is.
I
Yeah.
thought it was just. I mean, that makes more sense. Like,
I mean, look at the cars.
yeah, I just assumed that was France in the 90s.
This is what France looks like.
It took them 40 odd years to catch up.
Yeah.
They're
but
currently
when they
driving around Peugeot 206s in Ford
No.
cars.
When they caught up quick. They skipped the mid 2000s. But yeah, no, she's stressed. She makes some chicken Hélène, which is, I think, quite an elaborate dinner.
It's roast chicken.
Is it? Is this roast chicken?
Yeah, I think she's just roasted a chicken and called it chicken Hélène because that's funny because she's the only cook. So everything she cooks is Hélène
Ah,
Oh, that makes sense.
because her name's Hélène.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, for a roast chicken, like, I guess chicken Joan of Arc doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
yeah. Also has some strange implications
Yeah.
for the chicken.
It's on the roast thing.
ooh. It's an elaborate way to roast a chicken, I'll give him that.
First build your first raise an army.
First raise multiple armies. Oh, the Joan of Arc. Have you ever properly read the Joan of Arc story, what she did?
No, but there was a do-go-on episode.
Yeah, I was going to say
so
that
it's
is
always
my
like-
knowledge of it is, I think, one history documentary that we watched at school and
It's-
the Do Go On episode on Joan of Arc.
It's for wild. She did so much.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like 19. They mentioned Joan of Arc in this as well, actually, because one of
Yeah.
the kids is like, I want to be burned at the stake. What a
Yeah.
great way to die.
To be fair, it is an elaborate and honourable way to die.
As a kid, you would be like, fuck, that sounds sick.
That sounds sick. Roast a chicken on a steak that's burning. It'll be done quick.
Yeah.
Probably burn quicker. They
Might
get
get
hot.
salmonella.
They get really hot, steaks do, when you're burning stuff.
Yeah, they melt flesh and stuff.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about
Anyway.
Madeline. Always gets dark. We always get dark, no matter what film
Yeah,
we talk about.
so the kids, they all go vegetarian.
Yeah, they're like screaming about being vegetarian.
Because she's like, that's my friend. Apart from, Vicky, who we've always established as a bit of a bully, and she's like, well, I'm going to eat it, and all the other girls start clucking at her.
Well, very importantly, one of the children does say, "I want to be vegetarian too."
Yes,
which is exactly what Hitler wanted. Exactly what Hitler wanted. And then one of them, they all start clucking.
It reminded me of Arrested Development.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, it's essentially like that scene in Matilda where Bruce is eating the whole chocolate cake and she's just trying to eat a whole chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird up close shot of her, but
yeah. And then
so they all get sent to bed with no dinner because doesn't Covington comes back and is like,
"What are you doing?
What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Why? I mean, sort of reasonable question of why are all the children clucking?
Yeah. Yeah, they get sent to bed, and that's why they then later come down in the night to get some food, and then Pepito just like scares the shit out of them.
Yep, dressed.
Yeah, they all sneak. It's such a brilliant little sneaking past scene while the nun and the chef are playing Go Fish, which I did also enjoy. They sneak into the kitchen, and you find the stinky cheese, and then they also find the cook's laundry with her like massive bra and her big pants.
Yeah,
which is a staple of kids' comedy.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But the bit where is it Aggie, one of the girls, holds up the bra to her chest and is just like boobies, boobies, boobies. And it's not weird or sexual. It is just very funny and very silly.
It's just kids being silly. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're all sneaking, they're like, of course, do the stupid kid thing of like, what shall we eat? And then realise none of them know how to cook. It's like, we could bake a cake. It's like, no, you fucking couldn't.
No, you fucking
do you have any idea how long it takes to make a cake? Do you not think that they might go in the kitchen?
Yeah, and like none of the food they can eat or want to. And then they find like the big wheel of camembert. I assume it's camembert.
It looked, something stinky. Anyway, Pepito then, I mean, in a very scary devil mask.
Yeah.
Scares the bejesus out of them.
Yeah, and they all scream, and that's what alerts.
Yeah, that and Madeline yelling at Pepito that he's an absolute dick.
Fuck you, Pepito.
Fuck you.
Fuck off.
I really think there are some outtakes where she's just like, fuck off, Pepito. You Spanish cunt.
I always think that in like kids' films when the adults are like shouting because it'll slip out, like it has to.
And one of my favourite lines though, when they're sneaking down, they're like, we've got to be quiet, we don't want to be caught. And then one is like, if we'll be caught, we'll be dead meat. And then Aggie goes, but we're vegetarians.
Oh man, it's
just
so
all silly kid stuff. Yeah.
And they go to Pepito's birthday party in like some very snazzy frocks as well. Because I kind of assumed that they were all poor and owned only like their school clothes,
like
but most of them
kids.
are posh. And then it's just Madeline is the ward.
Well, I mean, I imagine it's very expensive to send your kid to a like private girls' school in Paris.
Yeah, probably.
I imagine it's quite, which is like, why do they need money to fix the house?
I mean, fixing a house like that might be quite expensive.
But if every child is paying, and I imagine quite a lot.
Yeah, I assumed they were all orphans.
At the start, I thought that, but then we find out that they're not, and they've all got homes to go to.
Yeah.
It's a bit vague though, because it's like uncles and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird. We'll ignore that. It's a kids' film. Yeah.
Didn't go round the table asking them which ones had dead parents.
Are your parents alive or dead? Alive or dead? Alive or dead? But yeah, they go to his house. And they find out that he has like a menagerie and pets and snakes.
Yeah, he goes to feed the snake a mice, and instead they decide to free all of the mice.
Well, no, they sort of scream, and because he's like, "Oh, I'm going to feed it to
the snake."
The snake, and she's like, "You're not going to feed a live snake to a live mouse." You're not going to feed a live mouse to the snake, which is fair enough. Like, that's actually not what you're supposed to do anyway, because the mice can actually fuck up snakes pretty easily.
Yeah. So he's like, no, I'm going to kill it first, and he's built a little guillotine.
And that is just, goodness.
Which is psychotic.
Yeah. Absolutely awful.
Someone should be paying attention to that.
Yeah, that is a cry for help.
Because he
psychologically a cry for help.
he definitely didn't build it whilst he was in Paris. Like, that got moved with him.
What are you packing up? Oh yeah, just the mice and the mouse guillotine and the snakes and the what? And the snake? No, before that. And the mice? No, what?
It's also like needlessly elaborate.
And the guillotine. Oh yeah, I guess we are going to France. Yeah, that's understandable. Let's go.
Just in case those royals tried to raise
Those
their
royal
legs
mice.
Well,
again.
you know, Napoleon was quite small. I'm sure the guillotine that size will be fine.
But yeah, no, that's worrying.
Anyway, it all goes. Madeline basically he goes to kill the mouse. She lunges at him, knocks somehow like the mice get knocked out. The mouse box gets knocked over, and there are mice everywhere.
Do you not have a box that opens from the underside?
Yeah, the mouse cage.
Yeah, the mouse cages are famously and safely open from the bottom.
Yeah, spring-loaded mice.
Yeah.
And
but because it's mice, obviously, all the girls start screaming.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they all get kicked out of the party, and on the way out, Madeline just steals his Vespa keys.
But that's after not Mummy Clavel, what's her name? Miss Clavel pulls her off Pepita because she's raging at him.
Gonna beat the shit out of him.
She is, and they're like, it's one of those like kid fights where they're not actually really doing any damage to each other, but by God, they want to.
Yeah. She
although
wants to
Pepita,
put him under that small guillotine so badly.
Well, she's just trying to knock, 7 different shades out of him, but can't because she's, 6?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of rage in those tiny fists. Like, she's really upset with what he's done and really, feels very, righteous in what she's doing.
She's got a lot of pent-up anger and emotions. But yeah, they leave. There's a lot in this film. There's a lot of,
they all have to write
individual
lines.
points. Yeah. And they
And
have to keep redoing them.
And then they're going for a walk, and Madeline's reenacting what happened on a bridge. And then she falls off into the river.
Yeah, that was scary.
That was scary.
But a dog rescues her because he's a good boy.
A random dog. She is a good girl.
Yeah.
What do they call her?
Genevieve.
Genevieve.
Genevieve Le Chien.
Which is such a good,
I don't know.
which is such a good name for a dog.
Yeah.
Isn't it Genevieve?
I didn't realise at first that it was like just a stray dog as well. I thought it was just.
Well, it was
someone's
definitely
dog.
wearing a collar the whole time.
It was absolutely wearing a collar.
It was definitely someone's dog.
Someone's
They
got
kidnapped someone's dog.
There's missing posters up for the dog. The pictures are taken as the dog's jumping into the river. They're next to the tarantula posters.
But what a good dog. What a good girl.
Yes, good girl.
It's a sort of retriever-y type thing.
Yeah, it's a white golden retriever.
It's a Madeline retriever, yeah.
And but she's trapped. Like it's not so much that she can't swim, but it's the current's too strong.
Yeah. So the dog saves her. And then, like, when she gets out of the water, the first thing she says is the dog okay?
Yeah.
Which we never get an answer to that in the moment.
No, you assume the dog's just gone.
Yeah, the teacher's just like, no, you're fine. It's like, did the dog die?
And then
is that all we see of the dog?
She sort of whispers, like, I was so scared.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, poor baby. Like, that must have been, like, unfathomably terrifying.
Yeah. Honestly, at that point, all I was thinking about is the dog okay?
Yeah.
And then the dog is put into, not in a bad way doggy heaven, but in a good way doggy heaven of having 12 girls absolutely besotted with them.
Yeah, because he goes and finds the house, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Genevieve finds the house, yeah.
She has a cold. She has the sniffles.
Madeline gets ill from her visit to the Seine.
Yeah.
And the dog, and she lets the dog in.
Yeah,
and then tries to hide the dog while the Lord Covington's showing some diplomats around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here we have foreshadowing.
Because she finds out that the school's being
gonna be
sold.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's foreshadowing?
Foreshadowing. It's when something happens earlier in the film and is never brought up again.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, like the kid saying they want to get burnt at the stake.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm quite glad that was foreshadowing.
But yeah, he's showing some people around the house. and they don't. They're like, they don't want to buy it. I forgot why they
they're interested, but then Pepito's a little cunt, and that puts them off.
It's the Liberian diplomats, isn't it?
Yes, and they're like,
we lived next to a boy before, and he was a nightmare.
3 years of my life, yeah.
Because he's got, to be fair, I would be annoyed by having, like, a neighbour's kid with a shitty Vespa and all he's allowed to do is rings of the courtyard.
Yeah.
Losing my mind.
I'd break the Vespa.
Yep. I'd steal his keys.
Oh,
yeah, well, the tutor, you can also tell the tutor's dodgy because he teaches Pepito that he can just start the Vespa with a paperclip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't need keys, it's fine.
And Madeline is so, like, disappointed
irritated.
when she's watching him struggle to, like, asking this tutor where the keys are. And she's like, yeah, you suck, Pepito. And then he gets taught how to turn it on, and she's just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
God fucking damn it. But yeah, she learns that the kid, that he's selling it, but all the kids care about is that there's a dog.
Yeah.
Genevieve there's a dog.
And they have a brilliant, like, they're having to try and hide it before Miss Clavel comes upstairs while they're supposed to be getting ready for bed.
Yes,
yeah, but Miss Clavel, like, sneezes and then she's like, something's not right again.
Something's not right.
Mm.
And it turns out she's allergic to dogs.
Yeah.
But she's like, well, the dog can sleep in the shed. It's okay.
Yeah, you can keep the dog.
I do love the idea of 12 girls trying to hide a dog, though. And they do, like, immediately give it away when the girl's just like, we're not hiding anything.
We're not hiding anything. There's not a dog in here. But yeah, she's good.
Yeah, and then Madeline tells all the kids that the school's going to be sold. And then they all decide they want to stop that from happening. And the next time people come around, it's like...
Yeah, they set up, like, a load of pranks to stop.
Yeah, they essentially tell... Pepito, she's like, now Pepito, these people are coming around, so I need you to be really, really quiet. And so Pepito sets off firecrackers.
They also they have to clean up the house because Miss Clavel's like, right, it's being shown, it has to be spotless. So they do clean the house in their very cute matching pinafores. But Madeline organises them into different sort of attack groups for, like, some people are unscrewing the hinges out of the doors, and other people are, like, placing the stinky cheese in one of the rooms, and
which, like, you'd go into the room with the cheese and be like, oh, that's camembert, someone has put camembert in it.
Well,
like,
some of them,
like,
it doesn't have to be some of them do just smell like a raised sewer,
Stilton or something.
like a yeah.
You wouldn't just walk in and be like, wow, this is a weird smell. You'd be like, that's probably someone.
Ah, yes, the cheese room.
Yeah, the cheese room. It just smells like
Well, these are diplomats. They might not, they're not from France.
No, I meant like him. I meant like the owner. You'd go in and be like, someone's done something.
Someone's put cheese in here.
Perhaps, but do you... I don't know. Because some of the cheeses can... Like, there's certain cheeses, I think, that are banned on, like, the metro in France because they're so stinky.
Yeah.
You'd know it's cheese.
And, like, you're not even allowed to take them on the tube in packaging.
No.
But I do like the bit where they steal... Obviously, she goes to steal the cheese and Aggie, like, lifts it up just to get a little whiff. And is like, what? And then the cook just has a little in the air while she's in the back of the shot, and she's like a little smile on her face, like that smells nice.
Yeah.
So she then like confronts Lord Covington, but she calls him Lord Cuckoo Face, and he kicks out Genevieve.
Gets rid of
the dog out
because he's evil.
Yeah, the girls all go to look for Genevieve, but then this is the bit that. Like, I can't tell if I missed something, but they're out searching for Genevieve, and then they're just at the carnival.
Yep. They suddenly just stop searching for Genevieve and are at the carnival.
I think, they basically, to cheer them up, they're taken to the circus.
But we don't really see that bit. No. We just see it go from...
We know that Pepito's going to go to the circus with his parents because the tutor is like, he needs to, we need to reward him for all his hard work.
And then
And they're like, he can't read. He can barely read. And he's like, oh, no. He's made great strides.
Great strides. And then the parents kind of invite themselves.
Yeah. They're like, oh, we'd love to go as well. We'll go as a family. And he's like, fucking damn it. Now is the one time you want to go to this, spend some time with your fucking son.
Yeah. Like, God fucking damn it. I was going to fucking kidnap your child. Just listen to you, little shit. But yeah, so they go, for some reason, like out of nowhere, go to the circus.
Yeah.
And yeah, we see that the teacher, surprise, surprise, is not a teacher.
No, he's actually trying to like set up to kidnap Pepito so he can like, I guess, get some money out of the ambassador.
Yeah, they're going to ransom him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just full on Man on Fire style.
Yeah, so they get his parents to like be in the show.
Yeah, and then he kidnaps, and then Madeline at the same time is like, I'm going to run away to the circus because I've got no family and the school's closing and no one loves me. So
yeah, this was after the really mean girl Vicky is like, she's pathetic. She's not even got any family to go back to, which is so harsh. And yeah, Aggie at the time is like, it's not pathetic to have a dead family.
Yeah. Pathetic is a weird choice of words there.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. I couldn't imagine feeling anything except, deepest sympathy and sadness for... I had friends that when I was growing up at school who had parents that had passed away, and it was, it was just horrible. It was really sad.
Yeah, I mean, she's not old enough to have developed empathy yet, though.
True. I mean, I'm talking about when I was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people develop empathy late.
Like Vicky.
Still don't.
Yeah, some people struggle with it still. But no, there is like an age you're meant to start developing empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is like between 8 and 13.
Oh, okay.
I think is like you're meant to start developing, and then you don't have empathy isn't like fully formed as an emotion until you're like 15, 16. It's weird sort of.
And then it's more of an emotion that you just ignore.
Yeah, well, it's an emotion you don't really understand.
Yeah.
Because you have a sense of self at like 14. Like you have that like sense of you are a person, but also everyone around you is different people.
Yeah.
And they experience their own lives. It's weird. It's really strange. Yeah, you just don't understand it properly, and most people still struggle.
Yeah.
A lot of people still fucking struggle with it.
But Madeline she's like, well, when the school shuts down, I'll have nowhere to go. I'll have no one. And it's like Miss Clavel has said, for the record, several times, like, don't worry, you will be okay. We are going to sort this out. Like, the school may close, but I will always be with you.
Yes, but Madeline is feeling her own feelings.
Yes, she is. And she's like, I'm going to run away and join the circus. And all I have to do is learn how to juggle or breathe fire or use a trapeze. Yeah. And Aggie's like, well, I'm not keen on the idea, but okay. Sure.
Yeah. Sure. She's like, please don't tell anyone that I ran away to the circus. And so she runs away, and she sees Pepito getting kidnapped, and she's like, oh shit, better help him.
Yeah.
And then it starts to just storm, and so everyone else leaves the circus really quickly. But the parents are like, where the fuck's my kid?
And she gets bundled into a van with Pepito.
Yeah.
Because they want to ransom both kids.
Yeah.
Which, like, haha, joke's on you, buddy. She's got no parents. She ain't got no one to pay for her. Joke's on you, buddy.
You kidnapped the wrong private school kid.
You kidnapped the wrong girl, mainly because she's not worth anything.
Yeah, and then all the other girls go back to the school, and that's when the friend holds up the hat on the bus so that she kind of counts 12.
Yeah, because she always, Madame Clavel, Miss Clavel always counts their hats.
Yeah,
as like doing a head count, like quite literally. And I always thought that was so clever. And I think, and that's where I stopped watching because I had no idea what happened after that.
But she works out that she's missing.
Yeah, and then
Aggie like is beside herself with worry and grief and blabs as soon as they get back.
Yeah.
And then as she goes to sort of drive off to try and find Madeline, she sees Genevieve sitting outside the house and is like, well, guess the dog's coming too, that'll help. And
so they go to the police. The police are like, oh, have they run away together?
Yeah, again,
it's like
that
they are 6 and 9, and he's like, well, maybe if he was French.
Great joke, by the way.
It's just like...
Great joke.
He's making jokes to these families like their kids have been kidnapped. Like one of the worst things that could happen to their child has happened.
Yeah.
He's also fully like, go home. And...
Go home, we have it under control.
Yeah. And then instead, Miss Clavel's like, right, me and Genevieve are going to deal with this.
Genevieve starts like barking because
Yeah.
that's where they left. So she's like, Genevieve, get in the car. You will give me directions.
Yeah.
That's not how dogs work.
I really, part of me expected like to like it pan back to the car and like Genevieve is driving.
Genevieve just reading a map.
Just two little paws on the side of a big map.
I mean, she
We're
can.
lost.
But they can't find her.
No.
And all the girls are like, "Oh, I miss Madeline." Like they're all upset, and then Vicky, the cow, is like, "Oh my god, I miss Madeline so much."
Yeah.
And
She suddenly develops empathy.
one of the other girls just gives her the best look of like, "Bitch, really?"
Yeah.
And it absolutely killed me. It was so funny because whilst obviously it's a bit scary that Madeline's been kidnapped, because it's a kids' movie, you're like 110% sure this girl is not in any real danger.
No,
It would have been wild if they just like were like, oh no.
Okay, we've got to get rid of the girl. We found out that she's an
Worthless
orphan,
to us.
so they slit her throat and dump her in the river.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the film.
And then the rest of the film is just like 11 girls go to a funeral.
It just hard cuts to like
Look,
body face down in the river.
Yeah.
You're like really jarring.
The school closes down.
Not funny to laugh at, but
No.
like the idea of this film,
Just taking a real 180.
but just like hard cutting from like like the teacher and the dog in the car going, we have to save Madeline. Cut to them stood at the side of the river.
The dog driving and the dog being like, and then like, putting his little paw on the handbrake. And then he panned to like just a corpse, bloated, floating in the river.
Just that. They see the hat and they're like, "Oh, Madeline must be." Oh, there she is.
And the dog dives in to rescue her, and she's like, doing CPR, and then the paramedics arrive, and they have to like pull her off of Madeline's corpse, and she's like, "No."
It just gets really bleak at the ending, really suddenly. Luckily, this film doesn't do that.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't do.
This is why we're not. This is why we're not allowed to write kids' films.
So they spend the night in this van, and then in the light, I guess that seeps through the like multiple holes in the van, like the slats. They see that they've been locked in. They've been tied together in a room with two massive knives in it that they use for the juggling.
Yeah,
they're not intelligent kidnappers.
And Madeline, she does her appendix thing again, where she's like, "Gotta be brave. I can do anything. I can do anything." And she's so brave, and like she really like pep talks Pepito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "It's a motorbike."
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you drive you know how to drive a motorbike because they've got the motorbike from the show as well."
Yeah. He's like, I drive a Vespa.
He's like, "I drive a Vespa. It doesn't even have gears." And she's like, "You can do it, Pepito."
You can do anything.
And so he's like, "Oh, I need a hairpin to start," which I think that was also foreshadowing.
Yep, that was also foreshadowing.
That was
Yep.
And then as the truck goes to drive off, they just drive the motorbike out.
Well, they finally go to check on the kids, and they bust out. It gave me real Great Escape vibes.
Yeah, it's that kind of bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a motorbike. Okay, that's sort of where it ended.
The van chases the motorbike, and then Miss Clavel sees, and there's like a bit of a car chase.
Exciting chase scene.
Yeah. No stunt doubles either. They actually had the children drive the motorbike.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it's weird.
The dog just...
Yeah. They taught a dog how to drive
driving
a car.
the car. It was wild.
Yeah.
So the bad people end up in the river.
So, yeah,
Not mad.
The dog and Miss Clavel they manage to follow them and find them, and then she pulls. She drives towards them, so the motorbike can go round, but they have to swerve.
Yeah,
and
they swerve into the river.
Obviously, the bad guy is like, I'm gonna fucking crush it. Like the van versus a beetle.
Yeah, it's like
Is
a small blue car. Yeah,
it's a small blue beetle. It's like the van would win, but the other two people that are in on it but clearly aren't actually like this guy's friends.
They aren't that invested. No.
They're like, "I'm not going to kill a fucking nun," and they're like doing little crosses on themselves and like, no, and like grab the wheel, and so he swerves, but then he swerves into the river.
Yep.
But they don't
Face
die.
Face down in the water, floating.
Yeah. The car doesn't explode.
No, it's the water. As soon as it touches the water.
Madeline looks over and says good as she wipes bloody viscera off her face.
As she drops some gunpowder.
It's like when you try and swim in Assassin's Creed or something and just immediately drown the second you touch the water.
As soon as that truck touched the water, it exploded. Madeline drops like a stick of dynamite. It's over. It's over, Pepito.
But it's just a very emotional reunion with Miss Clavel.
Yeah.
And and obviously Pepito and his parents, I think his parents sort of appreciate him a bit more, maybe.
Yeah. And then it goes back to the house and they're all celebrating, and then the owner of the house, the Lord comes through and is like selling it finally.
Yeah, it's like he's actually sold it, but they've just seen pictures. So he's showing them around. The Uzbekistan.
Yeah,
that's it. The ambassador. I'm really surprised the ending wasn't that the Spanish.
I really thought the Spanish family were going to be so grateful.
Yeah, that would have made way more sense.
That she saved their son, that they were going to pay, but
instead,
that would have.
Yeah. Instead, Madeline's like, "You're only selling it because you miss Lady Covington," and he's
fair is like also a good ending.
Yeah, it's like you just wanna you're trying to run away from the memory of your wife because it was so painful. And
she's
he's like, "How the fuck do you know this? You're like 5," and she's like, "I've lost people too."
All she does is say, "I know why you've bought this. It's because you miss her and she's gone, but she's not gone. She's in this house." And he's like, "Shut the fuck up, you little girl." He's like holding back tears, like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Where did you come in and punch me in my tummy with these feelings?
She's like, "It's fine. Like, I've lost people too." And he's like, "You shut the fuck up."
How dare you? I'll put your appendix back in, you little bitch.
Who do you think you are?
I wish you drowned in that river.
In tears, like, I don't know who you are. Yeah. And then the ambassador of, where is it?
The Uzbekistan ambassador. Turns out, big twist, is a woman.
Woman. Ooh.
So sympathetic. Obviously, if it was a male Uzbeki
he wouldn't have
diplomat, he'd have been like, "Fuck those kids.
Yeah.
I want a nice house."
And she says in a vague accent, "It's fine."
Yeah, because it already sold. He was like, "Well, it's kind of." He's like, "Well, actually, I do want this. I am happy for the school to keep going, but I don't have. I've sold the house. Like it's a done deal." And they were like, no.
Please, Miss Finney. And Madeline was like, I'll reach your central fear in the world. Woman, and she's like, "Please don't." And because no, she's just has empathy because she is a woman. It is kind of implied.
Yeah, that was a bit of a strange, like, not a twist. I don't know. It was a very 90s way of being equality, eyebrow waggle.
It was sort of
women
like
are people too.
Women can be ambassadors too. Okay.
Not just nuns and chefs.
Not just nuns, chefs, and little girls. They can also be ambassadors.
And so they let them keep the school, and then it plays that song where it's like, "I see trees are green." I can't do the voice.
Yeah. And then
can you not? That was beautiful.
A truck hits it.
When did you get such pipes?
Yeah, and the kids are just allowed to run around and have fun.
Yeah.
And I assume keep Genevieve too.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Genevieve had to be put down.
Well, they do keep Genevieve because you see them at the end. They're all going out for a walk, and they're walking. The front two girls are walking Genevieve, so it's fine. The dog survives.
No, it doesn't cut back. Genevieve was hit by the van.
Genevieve face down in the river. We're not allowed to write kids' film.
No.
I feel like maybe we should try and wrap this up.
It's the hard cut.
Wrap it up.
Face down in the
Dump
river.
it in a river. Yeah, we've got to start adding bricks so that they sink.
Yeah.
Hard cut to this podcast. Face down in the river. Floating by.
But I was really pleased with this film. It was so it was nice low stakes without being, no stakes.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't And like the kids, yes, they're very childish, but they're so sweet. And
yeah. They act like actual kids. They're not.
And the acting wasn't dreadful. And like especially Madeline, she was phenomenal. She was so feisty, and like her expressions was just amazing.
Yeah.
And I love the little side eyes that she'd have with Miss Clavel at various points.
Yeah, it was a sweet movie.
I'm really glad we watched it because it just made me really happy. And I'm I've like really it was a big tick off my bucket list as well to like watch this movie.
Nice.
Well, if we can do a service, force us to watch films we wanted to watch when we were kids.
So I think I'd give it. It's not quite Matilda level fantastic, but I'd give it. I think 8 lifeguard dogs.
Yep.
Lifeguard good girls out of 10.
8 Genevieves.
Yeah. She's such a good dog.
Yeah.
It was really sweet, and I think you could play a really good drinking game with this film called Drink Whenever There's a Shot of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, that leads to my school, which was going to be I was going to give it a 6 shots of Blackpool Tower.
6? Only 6?
Only 6.
I enjoyed it, but like I didn't have any nostalgia for it or anything, obviously. And it was very much just
You don't remember being a young French girl in a Parisian school?
No. Strangely enough, that's not an experience I've had.
The previous life.
Hadn't seen it before or anything. Yeah, previous life I died face down in a river. Yeah, I just like I had an alright time with it, but it's definitely not one that I'd like rush back to want to go and watch again or anything like that. Like it was a fine time. It was a nice movie, but yeah, it's not going to be like a core memory movie for me. Like,
fair enough.
I think for me, 7 hard cuts to people face down in a river out of 10.
Of course. What else would it be?
Because I think like 7 out of 10 for me. Because like, as you said, I didn't have nostalgia for this. It was a really good film. That was really sweet and just like easy to watch. But like, yeah, it doesn't have that nostalgia.
Nice and short too. Always helps.
Yeah, but it's just really sweet, and it does everything right. Like absolutely everything about the film is done right. Yeah, it's just really nice.
Yeah, it was a good time. I would recommend watching it, especially like on a rainy day or if you've got a cold or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're just thinking, what can I watch that'll feel like a nice warm hug? And like maybe draw out some emotions, but it's not going to make you like sob, and it's not going to make you like, it's not so hilarious that you're going to like hurt yourself from laughing either, but it is.
I did legitimately cry at the end of this film.
Aww.
I was like, oh, he's actually gone.
I awed out loud so many times watching it, to be fair.
I got fully invested.
Like a couple of the kids' lines made me like audibly laugh as well, which you know, not just the that you sometimes do where you just
breathe
exhale
out
slightly harder, like actual laughs.
Yeah,
this film did well. I'm surprised it did well. I'm a bit surprised it did well, and it aged really well. So I was like, oh, it might be bad. It wasn't.
Yeah, I think it's probably aged well in part by being made in the 90s but set in the 50s.
Yeah, I feel like if it was still set in the 90s, like
so it hasn't got 90s yikes to it, which it could have done.
Yeah, it didn't have like anything horrible about it. Like nothing was horrible.
Oh, you mean like if it had been set when the books are set in 1939?
Yep. They avoided a lot of stuff. But it's just sweet. There is like nothing offensive in this to anyone ever. It's so like it's just lovely.
Yeah, it's just a nice little movie, which it's nice to watch one where you're not just like
just every now and then. Every now and then we get a good film. We get a nice film.
Sometimes you just want to have a good time. Like
yeah.
Well, I guess with that, I have been Dan.
I have been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
You can find this podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at HiltonPod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well. You can tell us if you've got any memories of this movie or if you've ever been a face-down corpse floating down a river. I don't want to know what we're doing for the Patreon, though.
Oh, God. We're not kidnapping kids, are we?
No. This film explicitly doesn't involve kidnapping kids.
Is it Big Net? So we can't get the bodies out of the river.
No, we're going to remake this film shot for shot, apart from we're putting our ending in.
Oh, no.
Shot for shot remake.
No, Don't even remake it. We just take the film and just film the end of it.
No, we're going to market it as like the Madeline remake. And shot-for-shot remake. It's identical, sudden twist ending. Face down in a river.
Oh, like those prank endings you used to get for films.
Yeah, we'll send it. We'll do that actually.
Yeah.
We'll remake it, and half the people will get the normal actual ending.
Do a clue version.
But like, you either get a nice ending or traumatized.
Like, did you ever see that video of the person who had like taken Toy Story 3 and edited it so as they're going down into the trash compactor, the credits come up, and then they just showed that to their mum?
That, but like with a lot more sudden death.
That, but bloated child body floating down a river.
Yeah,
and dog.
As hell.
We've got to kill the dog as well for like extra.
The dog dies by the van does hit the car and they both explode.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
I think money well spent.
Yeah, when you go to see this film, it's either a U or like an 80. You have to just sort of hope you get the good one.
Just it comes up that little screen at the beginning of the movie in the cinema. It's got the rating and stuff, and it's like 18, severe gore and violence, and you're like, hang on, what?
No, it's like what it is it's you for everyone, or
maybe it's just both,
or maybe 18.
The parents, they're like, I've paid for the ticket, so I really don't want to leave, but
yeah, that's their problem.
Yeah. And then they start watching, they're like, oh, it must have been a mistake, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, right near the end.
No, I think
hard cut.
I feel like so we don't have to mess around with all the ratings. We'll just give it a 12A.
No, I want
like if
so
you're under 12, you're okay if you watch it. Oh no, we still have it exactly the same, just the specific rating.
You know that
then
people
you just have the one.
You know, people making the films don't get to decide the ratings. It goes to like a different company does it.
If we only remake the end, we can give the rest of the money to that company to bribe them.
I don't think they accept bribe.
Well, do they accept bodies floating down the river?
What if we just tell them we think it'll be really funny?
Yeah. Oh, they might go with that then. Yeah, they might be good with that. It's a prank, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah, sure."
Oh yeah, sounds good.
From the late 2010s era of pranks.
Yeah, sure.
It's just a prank, bro. And then we have a bunch of traumatized children.
And that's how we like to end every episode.
Exactly. Make them learn empathy faster.
Or die trying.